You ever just stop talking to someone? Not because you're mad, not because you're trying to prove a point, but because deep down, you realize you're the only one keeping the connection alive? That moment right there, that's where everything changes. That's the shift. It's not loud. It doesn't come with fireworks. It just happens. And what follows is not immediate heartbreak for her, but a creeping silence that grows louder than any words you ever said. Let's break it down. Let's talk about what really happens when you stop chasing, when you reclaim your peace, and let the silence speak for itself. Phase 1. She notices the shift, the absence of your message. She picks up her phone like always. Checks the screen. Silence. No. Good morning. No late night. You up? No gentle check-ins. Just QUIETA glitch in her routine. It doesn't break her heart, not yet, but it unsettles her. Like when you misplace something you use every day, like something small is missing, but the day feels heavier without it. That unspoken realization. She doesn't text first. She tells herself it's fine. But deep down, there's a shift in the air, a soft alert in her gut. Something's changed. And it's not loud, but it's real. Phase 2. Her confidence begins to waver. The ego she clung to starts to shrink. She was sure of your chase, certain you'd always come back, that your silence was just a pause, never permanent. But this time you didn't return, you didn't reach, you didn't try. Doubts begin to whisper. Did I misread him? Is he really letting go? Did I take it too far? The questions come softly at first, then louder. Her once solid confidence starts to crack. As her inner voice grows heavier than her outer pride, the power dynamic changes. It hits her. She doesn't have the upper hand anymore. The attention she took for granted is gone. Not taken, but withdrawn. And in that quiet absence, she realizes you're no longer waiting to be chosen. You've already chosen peace. Phase 3, the world around her doesn't feel. The same superficial distractions lose their shine. She goes through the motions, smiling, posting. The same filters, the same captions, but something's missing. The fun feels forced. The joy diluted. Genuine connection versus fleeting attention. Demons flood in. Compliments, emojis, empty words. But none of them see her, not really. None of them. Ask how her heart is. You did. You saw beneath the surface. And that depth? It's irreplaceable. Your emotional presence was her anchor. You were steady in her chaos. A safe space in a loud world. Now, without you, everything feels shallow. No gravity, just noise. And in the silence of your absence, she finally feels the weight of what she lost. Phase 4, she starts comparing others to you. Nobody feels quite the same. She tries to move on. New chats, new faces, new energy. But something's always off. The conversations don't flow. The humor doesn't land. The connection doesn't spark. Emotional safety is irreplaceable. You didn't just listen, you understood. You didn't just compliment, you cared. With you, she felt unguarded, real, enough. And now, surface-level charm feels exhausting. You became the standard without realizing it, without meaning to. You became the measure, the quiet benchmark, the one she compares them all to. And with every missed beat, every mismatch, she's reminded you weren't just different. You were right. Phase 5, guilt creeps as she starts to remember your goodness, not the grand gestures, but the gentle ones. The way you really listened, even when she rambled. The way you showed up quietly, steadily, with no need for applause. The little things hit the hardest. It's the simple texts. Let me know when you get home. How's your mom doing? You didn't just care, you remembered. And now, those small moments echo louder than any dramatic goodbye. Regret, not rejection, becomes her companion, because the truth is, you didn't slam the door. You just stopped standing at it, waiting. And that realization? It doesn't just hurt, it haunts. Phase 6. She romanticizes the past. The brain rewrites history. The arguments lose their edges. The tension fades into soft focus. What once felt heavy now feels distant. Almost unreal. Nostalgia overpowers reality. What lingers are the good moments, the laughter, the shared dreams, the inside jokes that no one else would understand. You didn't just make her smile, you made the world feel safe. Even if only for a while. She misses who she was with you. It's not just about missing you. It's about missing the version of herself that felt more whole, more open, more alive in your presence. And that kind of loss, it doesn't fade easily. Phase 7, the silent signals, the meme, the like, the story view. It's small, barely noticeable. A random like, a shared meme, a lingering story view. But to her, it's a message. I'm still thinking of you. She's testing the waters. She won't say it outright. But every digital nudge is a question in disguise. Are you still watching? Do you still care? Vulnerability disguised as casualness. She plays it cool, but it's not casual. It's careful, a breadcrumb trail of hope. But you've learned not to follow crumbs because you're not starving anymore. You've fed your peace and healed your hunger. Phase 8, the realization hits the hour, not coming back, not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of growth. You've healed from needing to prove your worth. You've outgrown the imbalance, and now your absence speaks louder than presence ever could. No response is the response. You don't reply, not to punish, but to protect your peace. Your silence isn't cold, it's clear. It says, I finally chose me. Finality without closure is the loudest echo. There's no final message, no dramatic ending, just a quiet truth. You're done. And that quiet, that's what lingers in her chest. Not the goodbye, but the fact that it never came. Why silence is not weakness, but wisdom. Emotional detachment equals growth. You're not shutting down, you're leveling up. You're not cold, you're clear. You stop begging to be understood because you finally understand yourself. When you stop explaining, you start living. You no longer exhaust yourself trying to be heard in spaces that never really listened. Your silence isn't avoidance, it's alignment. Choosing peace over performance. Not every connection deserves your chase. Not every bond deserves revival. Some stories aren't unfinished, they're complete. You've learned letting go isn't losing. It's liberation, reclaiming your power from validation seeker to value keeper. You don't need her to see your worth anymore. You know it, you're not available to draining energy anymore. Your silence isn't emptiness, it's boundaries. You attract what reflects your peace now. You're a mirror of calm, and only those who match your peace will stay. Conclusion, your silence is not an empty space. It's a full statement. It's the end of performing, the beginning of healing. So if you're in that phase right now where you're quiet, still, distant, know this. You're not weak, you're wise. And in that silence, she finally hear the loudest truth. You were the real thing all along. Drop it in the comments. I don't chase, I attract.